This is episode 43. We are discussing about the method and manner of actions, duties, of whether it is obligatory or whether it is for the service of others. We need to distinguish our activities properly so that we advance in our journey towards eternal joy. And the karmas, the actions alone can help us to advance, or if we don't do it according to Lord's law, we may even fall back. So it is good to know His laws and the way He wants us to work. The slok number 7 tells us, in the last slok 6 we did mention, and it is very important to repeat, that hypocrisy is something God really despises. If there is any one thing in this whole Gita that I have noticed, everything else is excusable. God forgives us. He just loves to forgive. But when we are hypocrite, in other words, we pretend, that means we don't want to do it, then He cannot help us. If we take a horse to the water, but if he doesn't want to drink water, there is no way we can make him drink water. Similarly, we must have some desire to do it, and do it with our heart and with our mind. So Lord is giving us the freedom to choose, and we must desire our good. That is something Lord only can explain what is good, but the desire to do it, desire to proceed, and desire to function in the manner is always ours. So we must always think this way, that hypocrisy we will not do. We will struggle, we may fail, we may have errors, that we are not going to worry about, but we certainly will not be hypocrite. यह तु इंद्रियाणि मनसा नियम्य आरभते अर्जुन कर्म इंद्रियैः कर्म योगम asakta savishishyate. Now Lord says that if mentally, if you control your organs, we have talked about 5 organs of or senses of knowledge, and there are 5 organs of action. 5 organs of actions will come necessarily 2 hands and 2 legs and the tongue. All those organs that move, they have to be also properly utilized. So if we utilize all these senses and the organs and perform the actions that will lead to yoga, detached with the results of those karmas, then Lord says such a person is superior to an ordinary animal who works, eats, and just passes time. We are here not to pass time. We are here not to merely work, eat and breed and just pass away like animals. We are here to take opportunity of every moment of our life, to think properly, to perform properly in line with God's laws, and in short He tells us, be selfless. Do your activities without selfishness. Then the question remains, what is selfishness? And real selfishness is to work for ourselves, for Atman. That cannot be done unless we work for others as our own. This is the crux of it. We think of everything or everybody as a manifestation of God. We are not obliging anybody when we try to help others, but we are trying to help ourselves. If that is the attitude, then Lord says such a person is superior. नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायहि कर्मणः शरीर यात्रा अपि च तेन प्रसिद्धेत अकर्मणः. Now, niyatam kuru karma means he is telling Arjun that you have to perform your obligatory duties. Karma jayahi akarmanaha. Akarmana means here laziness or not performing duties or withdrawing from the duty for some reason, like he is attached to his family and therefore he is withdrawing, or we may have some other reasons to withdraw from our duties, But Lord says that if we have obligatory duties, if we have created or want, like if we have a house, we must maintain the house. If we have a car, we must maintain a car. If we have family, we are married, we have certainly all those obligatory duties to perform according to the laws, and we have talked in our earlier discussions and discourses what are the duties of a person. We did also mention that we don't have sometimes the duty, but if we want something, then out of that want we do create obligatory duties. We also said it's not a duty for each and every one of us to get married, but if we do want to marry, that is our own choice and desire, then after marriage we have an obligation to live according to the laws. According to the law that Lord has said that we must serve each other, we must sacrifice our life for each other, and even in this world we have to have the same attitude that human being is the only creature that God has made who must sacrifice his life for others. In animal kingdom we find they sacrifice others for their life. Human beings have been given that intuitive feeling, or we are being told here in Gita also, if we don't have that intuitive feeling, that we can advance only if we sacrifice our life. By sacrificing the physical body and physical pleasures, we will have eternal life and eternal pleasure. Eternal pleasure is joy in Atman itself. So, in no case we will be the loser if we consider that this is a good investment to sacrifice our time and sometimes even for our family, even though it is obligatory, at least we are not going backward. And then when we try to help others who are not related to us, we have no connection, we have not borrowed anything, we are not dependent on anything, and in those people if we try to help, then certainly we would be advancing. All other obligatory duties of relatives or friends, there is always an angle. Either we have borrowed something, they have obliged us, so we are obliging. It is a mutual trading or exchange, so that is not considered karma yoga, but that is our obligatory duty. First we must do the obligatory duty and then go beyond that. I think there is a question about our discussion here.
Sacrifice. When you say sacrifice, can you help us understand what does it mean and
What is sacrifice? Yes, sacrificing means when we have to spend some time, supposing I want to go to picnic and I have decided all these things, but somebody in the neighborhood is sick and I need to take him or her to hospital, then the thing that I had planned for my own pleasure or for my own family, that time and energy I will try to utilize for the good of the people, my neighborhood, or somebody suddenly needed my help. So sacrificing our pleasures, sacrificing our time and money for serving others is a sacrifice. Now, Lord says that if you niyatam kuru, you must perform your obligatory duty. There is no question about withdrawing from it. There is no room for negligence in performing mother's duty towards children, father's duty towards children, husband's duty towards mother, and mother's for children. All internal relationship must be thoroughly understood and should be based on sacrifice, not always looking for our own pleasure or our own joy, our own comfort, but even at discomfort, like mother who serves the child just born, she suffers a lot of pain, and yet she makes sure that the child gets all the child needs, the nourishment. That is another sacrifice. Giving birth to child is a sacrifice. Nourishing the child is a sacrifice. Unfortunately, it is our child, and so we do it just like animals also do, but sometimes we even don't do that. But if we do it even more so to some other children which are not our own, then of course it will be considered yajna or sacrifice that will really advance us. So there are various categories of sacrifices. Some are obligatory, which doesn't advance us but helps us not to go backward, like nourishing a child by mother or performing their duties toward their children appropriately. In so doing, you don't advance, but certainly we don't go backward. At least that much we should do. And that's what Shri Krishna is telling him right now. That if he does not perform his duties as a Kshatriya, he is going to go backward. And that certainly is not in his interest. Sharira yatra pi chatena prasiddhet akarmanaha. Even the bodily life will not be satisfactorily performed or succeed if we are lazy or if we withdraw from our duties. So, duties as we see today, we create arbitrary duties, all those things we have talked about in the past. Best thing will be to minimize our needs. Minimizing the need will give us more time to spend for ourselves, to study the scriptures, to know our roadmap, and of course we will have time and energy to help others. But if we go on increasing our needs, our desires, then of course we will be so much wrapped up and there will be so much demand on us as we want to spend more money or time or energy on our pleasures, then certainly we will have no time to help perform our worldly duties, not to talk about spiritual duties or advancing in spirit. So far Arjuna has been told that he must perform his duties. Now, in the next slok, Lord says, Yagyarthat karmanaha anyatra lokayam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samacharaha. Lord says that for a human being, Yagyarthat karmana, all your actions must be performed with one goal in mind. Yagya. And yagya means sacrificing, as we have just talked about, sacrificing our life for the good of the world according to the law in this world. If we perform anything else, any other karma which does not have yagya or selfless activity in mind or helping others, then it is going to bind us. Any other activity other than yagya, now yagya doesn't mean havan, that we talk about putting our ghee and coconut in the fire. Those are not the yagya or havan we are talking about. Here we are talking about sacrificing our life like the saints have done in the past. All saints have sacrificed their life, the comforts. You know that Buddha, Mahavir and Meera, they were princely family and yet they gave up everything. They did not even know where the next meal will come from or where they will be sleeping. So thus their life was a sacrifice, because if we are too much wrapped up in our own needs and comforts and pleasures, like Buddha Bhagwan in his early days, then he realized that life is not worth living, and he thought that there must be a better purpose than living for pleasures. So he sacrificed his life by meditation and found out what the purpose of life is, and then of course he delivered the message and showed the road map to people towards the ultimate good or ultimate peace or ultimate joy. So these are the people who teach us. Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi would be a fine example of person who put his life, his actions as a yagya, helping the poor, freeing India from the yoke of the foreign rules and other things, that we were our own slaves, we were ignorant even within the Hindu religion. All these things he tried to put back on track by teaching us the right duties of the families, society, religious teachers, and politicians, of course, education. There was no field that he did not touch which required some correction in life towards heading towards spirituality. So Lord here says that, O Arjun, Kaunteya, you must perform your actions with detachment, mukta sangaha. Don't worry too much about the fruits of actions, but be moderate and also balanced let me take care of the results of your actions. You just pay 100% attention to what I am telling you, and the rest will be taken care of. I think that is what, in short, the Lord is trying to tell all of us, that if we first understand our duties under the condition in which we are, and then focus our duties properly, not try to be selfish, always thinking of our own needs or our own comforts, not think about others. These are some of the things that we have to watch if we are going to do the yajna or sacrificing our life. Now, from 10 to 16, slok number 10 to 16, Lord says that the entire creation is created through yajna. In other words, God Himself has sacrificed Himself to create this world, and therefore the nature of creation is sacrifice itself. We can see the sun is sacrificing itself, in other words, not expecting anything from us, constantly giving us light and energy. So are the rivers, so are the ocean, the wind, and all other five elements. The trees are showing us and teaching us the life of sacrifice, that their life is for others, no matter how we treat them. So the whole universe and creation, when we look at it properly, we will see that they are sacrificing each other, except human beings who are supposed to do the same thing, but out of ignorance or selfishness, we sacrifice others instead of ourselves. So this is the thing Lord is going to talk about in the next 6 sloks. Sahayagyaha prajaha sruštva pura uvacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam esha vaha astu ishtakam dhuk. Sahayagya praja sruštva. The Prajapati, or the firstborn, in the ancient time, he created this creation, or all of us, through yajna. He sacrificed his life. Sacrifice was the goal, sacrifice was the means for creation. And so the creation was created through sacrifice. So Lord says that you also, when I have sacrificed and created you without any selfish motive whatsoever, just out of joy of it, you also do the same thing. You also feel happy and be very happy in your life. Only you will be happy if you base your life on activities that will be in the good of other people and not only for ourselves. And then this yajna, or selfless activities, will become ishtakam dhok, that will satisfy all your desires. Whatever you need will be taken care of. Lord says that I have built in it all the results that you need. You just perform your actions, and I will take care of your needs appropriately. Devan bhavayata nena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayanta shreya param avapsyatha. He says these Devan here doesn't mean the little gods that we have made, but 5 elements like the sky, the wind, the sun, the water, the ocean, and the earth. These are the divine elements that are nourishing us. We all know that. We are made of those 5 elements. And if we nurture them properly, if we properly use them, then they will give us the right fruits. But if we ruin them, then we will be ruining ourselves. Though there is a mutual thing. We keep environment clear, environment will keep us clean and happy and healthy. It is the same thing in all our life. If we keep others happy, then others will keep us happy also. So this is mutually good for us. But if we are selfish, then we won't be happy and others won't be happy. It is totally an opposite situation. So the law that we can be happy only if we can make others happy, this is the law, is what we are talking about as yajna. Sometimes people ask me about service. Yes, seva. I think that we need to serve, but service also sometimes, if a son is servicing his mother who is sick, Of course, we will call that a seva, but it is an obligatory seva for a son to sacrifice his life for mother. He must do it. He must do it unconditionally, without any expectations. It is his obligatory duty since mother has given him the birth, and yet, in spite of doing all of it, he has not really performed the perfect yajna because he was serving only his mother. He was not serving somebody else's mother where he had no relationship whatsoever, no obligation whatsoever, no obligatory duties, and yet he sacrificed his life. Everybody can do for their own family and their friends because mutually we are depending on each other, we expect something from each other. So it is out of expectation that we are serving each other, even within the family and friends. Lord here says that we have to do it with poor the people who are needy, who have no relation with us. We don't expect anything. We don't make a show. We don't want to let anybody even know that we are helping. In reality, by helping others, we are helping ourselves. So we should not even think. As a matter of fact, if we have money and we help others, we should be thankful that God has helped us, because in our life, whether we know or not, every minute there is a possibility that we are doing something that is displeasing to God. It is very difficult to please God in every little activity. Life is based on hinsa or violence. We eat vegetables, we kill bugs, whether we like it or not. Life itself is based on violence and destruction. So, in order to counteract that, we must be very humble. We should be always subjecting ourselves to humility. That this kind of life is something we need not be so attached. We rather say that we have been destructive by very nature, so we can counterbalance that by sacrificing our life also for others, as we sacrifice others for our life. This is inevitable, this is the law, and therefore at least we must act accordingly. So Lord is saying that we must mutually try to uplift each other, just like the environment. Similarly, the trees and all, whatever we are living, and yet nowadays we see that we are destroying our own support by our pleasure-loving ideas, big homes that requires lot of trees. All these things we are hurting our own self. Coming back to serving others, then as we say that serving others, we already described that there should be no ego. We do it out of love, not compulsion. We should not get tired or complain. If we really serve the Lord, I think Lord will not even make us tired. We will not feel tired. The feeling of tiredness and clumsiness and um, pain in serving others itself tells us that we are not focusing, or we really don't have our heart in that, because if our heart is in serving, then we will not get tired. So uh, service is not very simple. Often we are serving others to nurture our own ego in a subtle way, whether it is religious service, whether it is havan, whether it is serving some sick. Behind it, often we like our name to be more famous. We like people praise us. We don't like to say that, but we can easily tell that people are mostly acting to boost their ego and make a big show of serving others rather than quietly doing it like the saints are doing. This is very hard and very rare, and that is why it is difficult, but we can go ahead even if there is ego, keep doing it. Someday God's grace will come where we will realize that we must control our ego while we are trying to help others. The sole purpose of serving others is to control our ego, to develop humility. And if we try to boost our ego and our pride, then certainly the purpose of yajna or helping others or serving others is ruined. The purpose was to make ourselves humble, that God gave us the opportunity to serve others. So in this case then, if we want good of each other, then we must always think of others first rather than ourselves. Even countries should think about other countries as much as our own country. Instead, nowadays we feel that each country has a power, then they take advantage of other countries, one form or the other, resources of other countries. So we are always trying to take advantage of other country, other people, if we have the power and if we are capable to it. I don't think there is a intention of helping others, though outwardly we say that we are trying to help others. If we really examine our attitude, we'll find that it is our own selfish motive. There is some angle why we are trying to help other country, other people in one form or the other. And Lord here says that that attitude is selfish, that is not yajna, that is not karma yoga, that is not the way to be happy. इष्टान् भोगान् हि व देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैः दत्तान् अप्रदायेभ्यः यः भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः. Now the Lord says that if you keep those elements, those gods mean those who are serving us, those 5 elements we are talking, if we keep them happy, dasyante, and if we keep them happy by performing our yajna or selfless service, then they will also give us the happiness, food and everything else plus happiness. But if we don't return this happiness in helping others, then he says we are a thief. If we have got some wealth, intellect, any art, dancing, singing, everything that God has given us, it is only for the good of others. So we sing for helping others, we dance for others, but we never think of making money or particularly for name and fame. I haven't found anybody who is serving, singing, dancing or anything, either doesn't have the idea of making money or their pride or their name and fame. There is always an angle. Nobody is doing anything to serve others in the manner of yajna that God is talking, except of course great saints like Mahatma Gandhi. But we certainly want to reconsider our activities, and at least if we cannot do it completely dedicated to others, at least part of our income should go to the poor or less fortunate and help them, and gradually that will give us the joy of helping others. So we may do it more, and gradually we may be doing more and more. So someday we will be able to totally dedicate our life for the good of the creation, which is God. All people in the creation are God Himself, and He is testing us how we are acting in the manner of what He is talking about in Yajna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.